FragPunk just got 2 brand new patches. These were smaller downloads, but we actually did get patch notes for them. I'll go over all the details with that. We'll also go over some additional mentionables. Where last up we will go over that community feedback, and there is a ton to cover there. We got a lot to talk about. What's up world, it's Utopia back in the video. Today we're checking out all things FragPunk. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. So if you didn't see, we actually did receive 2 patches. Now these were quite smaller in size. The one today was around 240 megabytes. I believe yesterday's was around 50 megabytes. But yeah, they were very small, way under a gigabyte. But they did come with some patch notes here. So first up with March 10th. They do consider this a hot fix, but there is actually some decently chunky patch notes here. There was actually some massive changes to Outbreak here. Players who join a ongoing match will receive more shard points upon joining. Yeah, it did seem like a little bit scuffed there when you first joined or when you got into a later game. It was really hard to catch up. They've adjusted some level boundaries and fixed collision volumes in certain areas. Players were getting a little bit out of the map on some occasions, or at least they were getting to a section that was really hard to get to. Here's some quite massive ones that are actually going to change the way the game actually plays, or at least the Outbreak mode. They've essentially nerfed the amount of maximum shard cards that each of these can hold. So for squat defense you can have 2, for lucky bullets you can have 1, and for maximum overhealth you can have 1. So you can only hold that maximum amount of cards. Essentially, it did seem like zombies were becoming a little bit overpowered with maximum overhealth, although for players as well, having 200 each and stacking that could add a ton. Lucky Bullets was firing an extra bullet in random directions with every shot. I guarantee if you stacked that a ton, more than likely it probably bugged out the game. Didn't get to test that, but would like to know your thoughts on that. Or maybe the effect could only be applied once. There was no point of stacking that, and maybe it won't give you the card as often now. Either way, it did seem pretty busted if you could have more than 1. We also had Squat Defense here, which was crouching to reduce recoil and damage reduction. Again, another broken card. If you could stack this, the amount of damage reduction you could get would probably be absolutely insane, which would essentially turn you into a tank. And I doubt you could be taken out with any force there. So I am glad they're kind of bringing that in the balance of things. I actually do like the Outbreak mode. I hope they do add more maps to it. It can get a little bit stale after a while, but I'm glad they're kind of bringing it a little bit more in balance. They've also increased the HP of the parasites. In general, they definitely needed that. It's actually, I believe, been doubled from 2,000 or 2,500 to 4,000, so quite the big buff there. They'll also now regenerate health if they're being disengaged for a period of time. Yeah, some quite insane changes there, really good for parasites. They fixed projectile curve of the parasite skill polluting aura. Parasitic Sludge has now been changed to deal explosive damage, causing immediate damage upon contact. They've reduced the damage dealt to parasites by Nitro skill Mr. Pew Pew, which, yeah, the turret was pretty insane. And they've also reduced the maximum number of Mr. Pew Pews that can exist at the same time. If you've seen from some of my footage, they actually did basically stack those around in a circle. And yeah, that was kind of the meta there. I'm glad they're changing it up a bit. And we had several bug fixes that went along with this patch notes. They fixed weapon swap bug when out of ammo. Melee attacks can no longer hit through walls abnormally. There's also several game mode fixes here. There was an issue preventing matches from ending. Joining leading mid-match no longer caused problems. Lancers can't bypass prep phase barriers. Like, that was a major issue there. Shark Class had a fixed dual firing bug. Free-for-all fixed sliding issues. And Ranked Shard Clash adjusted the ranked point gains, where it seemed like some matches were giving excessive amounts of that. So it's actually a little bit nerfed now. UI as well had some general fixes here, translation and text issues. They also fixed club, mailbox, and melee weapon model glitches. Speaking of clubs, I actually do have one. If you want to join, I'll put the code to it down below. Or you can just look it up. It's called Utopia Dystopia. There was some system fixes here where they resolved sticker bugs on some devices, matchmaking and training base access in certain regions, and multiple crashes and freezes resolved. So some nice changes for the March 10th patch overall. But with that, we also do have a March 11th patch that just dropped a little bit ago. Again, they consider this another hotfix. They made a special note there that yesterday there was unexpected network fluctuations on these servers in Asia Pacific regions. Those have now been resolved and they have issued compensation to those regions, so please check your in-game mail. Although I believe we all got the in-game compensation, there is that in your mail, so do check that out. There is some compensation there for these server issues. Seems like they just gave it to everybody. First up, basically the only major update here aside from the bug fixes is that itchy trigger finger has now been adjusted. It no longer interrupts the process of planting and diffusing converters. That one seemed pretty wild. That made the card basically a must pick. I didn't even know it did that. I'd never seen it do that, but it is a pretty good one overall, especially if you want to see where the enemy teams are. Next up here, we did have the bug fixes. General fixes here included footsteps no longer audible in the enemies while walking with ADS. There was also some store display, event reward distribution issues. Banned accounts will now show a banned status on their profile, so you can check when someone gets banned. Custom colors were not applying to melee skins. There was also, again, the section for UI fixes. There was even more translation error fixes, as well as with Lancer statues. There's now new ban info that's properly displayed. They've also improved the challenge descriptions for clarity. Last up, we did have some system fixes here. There was chat issues in certain regions. Again, people did point that out on the subreddit, so it does seem like that is getting fixed. They resolved an issue with the imp loading screen during lag. And there was 2 matchmaking fixes here, reconnection, and another rare case where a match wouldn't end. Does seem like that is an ongoing bug they are trying to fix. That does cover for the patch notes side of things, both March 10th and March 11th. Moving on to our community feedback and updates. This first one here, again, we do have some more redeem codes. Now, I have put these in each of my videos, but this time we do have a 9th one. So I will include an update here. I'll put all of these in the description to make it a little bit easier, but I'll also include the Reddit post down below that they did cover all of these. And they tell you what each of them give you. It's actually quite insane the amount of gold it gives you from these, so you definitely should pick this up. You also get a ton of original pop cans, and even some coins, so pretty cool there. We had one more developer update here. Now, they did acknowledge that the game hit over 100,000 concurrent players on Steam worldwide. Really cool to see the game is hitting up there in popularity. It does seem like it is slowly increasing over the days. This might be its peak, or we might see a further peak with Season 2, as we did with Marvel Rivals hitting Season 1. Again, we could always see higher jump ups, but overall, those are pretty decent numbers, and we'll have to see how long they do sustain them. Again, I'll bring this up from time to time if there is a player count issue, or if we're seeing better player counts, what we could do or what we could actually see to actually get those players back, or even new players in. Yeah, we'll go over all the feedback there. But with this post, they actually do cover that they're giving away a lifetime battle pass, and that they love to give these away. So yeah, you can participate all the way up until March 13th at 8 AM Pacific time. They want you to follow the FragPunk Twitter account, like, comment, and tag a friend below this post. As usual, the Japanese Twitter also did post this same tweet. I'm guessing you could do the exact same thing, so if you want multiple chances to enter there, I'll include both of the Twitter posts down below. This one does seem a bit different. It just says say follow and retweet to enter. Might actually not need to comment on this one, but I will include a link to it down below. We have one major community concern here, and this is that bot lobbies are basically happening in ranked. Now, I do believe this is in the lower tiers of ranked, silver and gold, although if anybody wants to let me know in diamond if there are bot lobbies. But yeah, basically this is just not a really good look overall that there is bot lobbies in rank. It's super unfortunate to see this overall. Also, someone mentions they're in casual too, that they essentially went the Fortnite route there with bot lobbies. I'm not a big fan of this. We have the player base for it. I really don't see why they would need this. I could see some reason at the start of ranked to have these in, because essentially when you hit level 30, or at least it does take a while to hit level 30, there isn't a ton of players that are there yet. Although if you get the membership bonus, you can get some XP there. Not everybody wants to purchase the membership bonus though. Yeah, I hope they take this away eventually. I get it at the start, but this has just kind of gotten out of hand. It's just a free win, and it really doesn't feel very satisfying. So I hope they eventually do remove this. At least once you get out of like Silver 5 or Silver 4, I don't think it should be there anymore. Let me know your thoughts on everything, what you feel about anything in this video. Overall, that's about covered for today's video. If you like, subscribe, and until the next. Deuce.